Hey everybody, this is Will Jones from Stone Circle Games, and today we're going to be doing a quick review of Interstellar Envoys, exclusive. Interstellar Envoys is a competitive exploration and territory control game for 2 to 6 players. And it does not yet exist. That's right, this is the first time on SCG Reviews that we're taking a look at a brand new prototype game from a new designer. So at the end of the review, if this looks like something you might be interested in, keep your ear to the ground. We're not sure where this one's going to go yet. Interstellar Envoys takes place on a sort of simplified galactic map, where planets are connected to one another via a lattice work of trade routes. Earth lies in the center of the map and serves sort of as everybody's launching pad, and players are trying to make sure that when rockets are launched to discover new planets, it's their men who are going to be there to explore the most valuable ones. Your explorers are represented by these little cubes, and there's all sorts of minutiae in terms of how you can move them, setting up trade routes, moving from one planet to another, but the meat of the thing is in the launch pad and actually getting guys on rockets to go discover new planets. There are a lot of ways to score points, but it mainly has to do with having the most presence on certain planets at certain times, to match up with several group objectives as well as your own hidden personal objective. When someone reaches a certain number of points, or someone's launched all of their guys off of Earth, the game's over. Whoever has the most points wins. I'm actually a big fan of how this game is scored. There are a lot of times when you gain points. 1 point there, 2 points there, so there aren't these big, ugly swings. Also, there's scoring within the game and after the game end condition has been met. So even if you're behind when the game ends, there's always this last little push that might be able to take you over the edge. Interstellar Envoys is all about exploring the galaxy, sort of in a Star Trek-y way, and there's a nod to that sort of flavor. Every color has its own little faction write-up with sort of a narrative about where they fit into the galactic order. And I like that the designer's going there and really trying to construct a storyline and some narrative lore. But that's sort of where it begins and ends, just with these faction write-ups. It doesn't enter into gameplay ever. There's no asymmetrical component. At no point do you feel engrossed by it. You just read your thing at the beginning, and then that's sort of it. Similarly, the mechanics are pretty much what you'd expect. There's a lot of just moving these sort of nondescript cubes one space, and that's not too terribly interesting. The mechanic that makes this game interesting is the rocket launch itself. In the center of the board, there's this little circular dial that's cut into segments, each pointing to a sector of space, and every single turn it rotates exactly one segment. Now, as soon as the segment that's pointing in any given direction fills up with cubes, just 2, 3, or 4 cubes, whatever it says on there, that rocket launches to that sector immediately. No one gets to choose when it happens as an action. It just automatically happens whenever the rocket's full. We're good to go. So you combine the automatic launch mechanic with the fact that any player can have cubes in any rocket, with the fact that the dial involuntarily turns every turn, and it really becomes a very intricate thinking man's game. It becomes a game of second-guessing your opponents and when they're actually going to put cubes in the rockets, so that you can try and put the last guy in there and launch it when it's favorable to you. This mechanic is central to Interstellar Envoys, and it's the kind of mechanic that you wish more games had. It's really active, so there's a lot going on with the rockets at any given time. It allows for long-term strategic planning, it pits player mind against player mind without the randomness of cards or dice, and you get to see the consequences of it frequently and soon. Now, the downside to that is really common for any sort of counting game. You get so laser-focused on the board that the room gets kind of quiet and a little too intense. You're so intent on trying to figure out what your opponent's going to do 3 or 4 moves down the road that you forget to just enjoy yourself and play a game. There aren't a lot of laughs to be had with this game, I guess is what I'm saying. There is a deck of cards that you can draw from as an action to give yourself one-time special benefits, but it sort of suffers from a lot of what this game suffers from. It's just a little lackluster. You never draw a card and go, ha-ha, this falls into my grand strategy, just like I always wanted to. Like the flavor, it just isn't quite there. The game is rated for 2 to 6 people, and the mechanics function very well with a high number of people, but the game also loses kind of its greatest advantage. This is a game of wheels within wheels, trying to outguess and outsmart your opponent several moves down the line. And with 5 or 6 people, a room usually gets too loud and unfocused to really allow that aspect to shine. You're going to get the most out of this game if you have 2, 3, maybe 4 players, if you're all really intensely focused people. I do have to give a shout out in terms of complexity because it really strikes a very nice balance. You're going to be able to learn the entirety of the rules in 15 minutes and have them down pat, but still the intricacies of strategy are going to take a long time to master, which is exactly what you want from a strategy game. Overall, I was pretty pleased with this game. This is not the kind of thing that usually grabs me. I like a lot more flavor and asymmetry for the most part, but I was really drawn in and had a few great games. You can sort of think of it as Race for the Galaxy once you don't want to play Race for the Galaxy anymore. So that's Interstellar Envoys. Thanks for watching. This is the first review of this type that we've done, but we're going to try to do some more coming up, so I really hope you liked it. Right up here, some contact info if you want to learn more about the game, and down below you can like and subscribe to us for more great content from Stone Circle Games. And until then, have fun around the table.